Life, in its essence, is not a battle to be fought, nor is it an endless war where you must constantly defend yourself against forces you cannot control. Too often we see life as a battlefield where everything and everyone becomes an enemy to be conquered. But when you shift your perspective, when you start seeing life as a mirror rather than a battleground, everything changes. The way you react to challenges, the way you view obstacles, the way you relate to people, it all starts to shift. Consider this. Life reflects back to you exactly what you project. Your fears, your insecurities, your limiting beliefs. These are the lenses through which you view the world. When you encounter difficulty, it's not always because the world is against you. Sometimes, it's because that difficulty is a reflection of what is inside you. That's a hard truth, but once you embrace it, you will realize that your power lies in how you respond to what the world mirrors back at you. When you change the way you view life, life begins to change with you. You stop fighting the external circumstances and begin to turn inward, looking for the root of the issue. The constant struggle against external forces is exhausting, and it leaves you drained. But when you see life as a mirror, you understand that everything happening to you is, in some way, a reflection of what's happening inside. If you've ever faced a difficult relationship or an intense situation that just doesn't seem to go away, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Why does this keep showing up in my life? It's not just the universe punishing you. It's showing you an area where you need growth. Life, then, becomes your teacher, not your adversary. This shift allows you to take responsibility for your experiences. And when you take responsibility, you take control. You're no longer a victim of the world. You're the creator of your own experiences. Imagine for a moment that every challenge you face, every confrontation you experience, is simply a reflection of the things you need to learn. You begin to see that your thoughts and emotions are being mirrored back at you through the people and events you encounter. You might face resistance because you're holding on to outdated beliefs or limiting perceptions about yourself or others. Life, in this sense, becomes a constant opportunity to learn and grow. When you begin to see life as a mirror, your perspective shifts from one of constant struggle to one of constant learning. Instead of feeling like you're being attacked or dragged down by life circumstances, you start seeing each experience as a chance to learn more about yourself, to sharpen your understanding, and to refine your character. It becomes a tool for growth, a path to your highest self. But here's the most powerful part of this realization. If life is a mirror, then you are the one who controls the reflection. The way you respond to life's challenges is how the world responds back to you. If you choose to approach every challenge with patience, understanding, and resilience, that is what the world will reflect back to you. If you choose to meet adversity with anger, fear, or resistance, that too will be mirrored right back. This means you have the power to shape your reality by controlling your internal state. You are the architect of your life's experience. When you stop fighting and start reflecting, you take away the power of your external circumstances. You stop reacting out of fear or frustration, and instead you begin to respond with clarity and purpose. You stop letting life push you around, and you start steering your own ship. You stop fighting the battles that don't need to be fought and begin winning the ones that matter most, the battles for your own peace, for your own growth, and for your own inner strength. But there's more to this idea. When you stop seeing life as a battle, you also stop seeing others as enemies. You stop dividing people into categories of us and them, or right and wrong. You begin to understand that everyone is simply playing their own part in the grand reflection of life. The person who frustrates you, they're a mirror showing you your own limitations or areas of growth. The difficult situation at work, It's a reflection of the way you're viewing your own purpose and potential. When you adopt this mindset, you become more compassionate, less judgmental, and more understanding. You begin to realize that no one is your enemy. They are merely reflections of the way you interact with the world. So, how do you start seeing life as a mirror and not a battle? It begins with awareness. Every time you feel resistance, pause and ask yourself, what is this situation showing me about myself? What do I need to learn from this? Then, you approach the challenge not with a combative mindset, but with a mindset of curiosity and growth. Look for the lesson in everything, and when you do, you'll find that the world no longer feels like an enemy to fight. It becomes a teacher, a guide, and a mirror, reflecting back to you everything you need to become the best version of yourself. Remember, the battle is never with the world around you. The battle is with your own perceptions, your own limiting beliefs, your own emotional responses. When you conquer that internal battle, the external world can no longer hold you back. Life will no longer feel like something to fight against, but rather something to embrace with open arms, knowing that everything you face is an opportunity to rise, to learn, and to become the person you are meant to be. And that, my friends, is how you change your mind about life forever. One of the greatest illusions we hold in life is the belief that we can control everything. We try to orchestrate the world around us, force outcomes to align with our desires, and shape every moment into exactly what we think it should be. But this illusion of control is one of the most exhausting, self-defeating beliefs we can carry. The reality is, life is unpredictable. Things will happen that we cannot foresee, and outcomes will unfold in ways we cannot control. But here's the key. The more we try to control, the more we become enslaved to an illusion, and the more we lose sight of the power that lies in accepting what we cannot control. Imagine for a moment trying to hold onto a rope while a strong current is pulling it away. The more you tighten your grip, the more difficult it becomes, and the more you wear yourself out. That's what life is like when we try to control everything. We believe that if we just work hard enough, strategize enough, and manipulate enough, we can shape the world around us to fit into our plan. But this mindset is rooted in fear, not strength. It comes from the belief that if we don't control every detail, something might go wrong and we'll be left exposed, vulnerable, or worse, powerless. But here's the truth. Trying to control everything only makes us feel powerless. Why? Because it traps us in a cycle of anxiety, stress, and frustration. The more we try to hold on to control, the more we realize how much is beyond our grasp. The universe, life, the people around us, none of them can be manipulated to fit our rigid expectations. And yet we continue to fight, to demand things go our way, to exhaust ourselves with frustration when they don't. But what if we could shift our perspective? What if, instead of struggling to control, we could focus on what we can control? Our own reactions, our thoughts, our inner world. What if we accepted that we cannot control every person, every event, every outcome, but that we can always control how we respond to them? When we detach from the illusion of control, we free ourselves from the constant need to force things into alignment. We stop living in fear of things not going our way, and we start embracing the flow of life as it comes. This doesn't mean we become passive or complacent. No, far from it. What it means is that we focus our energy on mastering the one thing we can control: ourselves. We let go of the need to manipulate circumstances, and instead we learn to adapt, to adjust, and to remain calm in the face of uncertainty. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself stressed out, trying to change something or someone, only to end up frustrated because things didn't go the way you wanted? It's a common human experience, but it's also a drain on our energy. The truth is, we don't have the power to control everything, and that's okay. What we do have control over is how we navigate the unknown, how we face adversity, and how we handle the unpredictable nature of life. This is where true power lies. When we detach from the illusion of control and focus instead on cultivating inner peace. We stop obsessing over outcomes and start focusing on the present moment, trusting that things will unfold as they need to. The key to doing this is to accept that life will unfold according to its own rhythm, and our job is to ride the wave, not try to stop the current. When we accept the ebb and flow of life, we stop fighting against the natural flow of things, and we start working in harmony with it. Now, this doesn't mean that we give up on our dreams or stop setting goals. Far from it. But it means we let go of the need to control every step, every interaction, every detail. Instead, we focus on putting in the effort, staying disciplined, and trusting the process. When we do this, we stop being attached to specific outcomes, and we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. We stop limiting ourselves to what we think we can control, and start embracing the surprises, the challenges, and the lessons that come our way. When we detach from control, we also free ourselves from the burden of perfection. The desire for everything to be perfect is a cousin of control, and it holds us back from achieving our true potential. Perfectionism is a trap that keeps us stuck in cycles of doubt and procrastination. When we stop trying to control every detail, we can allow ourselves to move forward without the weight of perfectionism. We take imperfect action, and in doing so, we unlock new levels of growth, creativity, and opportunity. So, how do we begin to detach from this illusion of control? It starts with awareness. The next time you feel that tightness in your chest when things aren't going as planned, recognize it for what it is: the desire to control something that is out of your hands. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you cannot control everything, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to be calm, to let go, to trust in the process. And when you do this, you will find that you are more at peace, more powerful, and more resilient. Let go of the need to control, and you will find that life becomes lighter, freer, and full of new possibilities. You don't have to fight the current. You simply need to trust that it will take you where you need to go. And in that trust, you will find your true strength. If there's one truth that governs the quality of our lives more than anything else, it is this: your thoughts shape your reality. Not your circumstances, not your upbringing, not even your current situation. Your thoughts. The way you think determines how you see the world, how you interpret events, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. Your mind is the filter through which you experience everything. If that filter is clouded by fear, doubt, envy, or bitterness, then that's how you'll see the world: hostile, unfair, dark. But if your thoughts are grounded in clarity, strength, and discipline, then the world begins to reflect that right back to you. That's why you must guard your thoughts like treasure, because they are. They're the most valuable currency you own. Every action you take begins as a thought. Every habit is rooted in a repeated belief, and every destiny is built, brick by brick, from the architecture of your mind. You can't expect to live a life of power, peace, and purpose while feeding your mind chaos, junk, and self-defeating narratives. The mind becomes what it consumes. The stories you tell yourself, the voices you allow in, the images you replay, they are forming your identity every single day, often without you even realizing it. And the dangerous part is, most people never stop to question their thoughts. They assume that because they think something, it must be true. But thought does not equal truth. Thought is suggestion. it's habit, it's programming. If you've been conditioned to think you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of success, then that becomes your mental baseline, even if it's a lie. And unless you challenge it, unless you actively replace it, that lie will run your life. It will shape your decisions, it will limit your ambition, it will choke your growth. You must understand that your mind is constantly being shaped, either by you or by the world. If you're not intentionally guarding it, then someone else is programming it for you. Social media, the news cycle, toxic people, past trauma, they all leave fingerprints on your thoughts. And if you're not careful, you begin to internalize those fingerprints as your identity. That's why so many people walk around disconnected from their power, not because they don't have strength, but because they've been taught not to believe in it. So what do? You begin the inner discipline of mental ownership. You learn to observe your thoughts without blindly accepting them. You ask yourself, is this thought useful? Is it empowering me or weakening me? Is it even mine, or did I inherit it from someone else's fears? That awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you can witness your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, you create space, and in that space, you have the power to choose something better. You start feeding your mind with truth, with strength, with clarity. You surround yourself with wisdom, not noise. You flood your mental environment with thoughts that elevate you, even when it feels unnatural at first. Because your mind is not a fixed thing, it's moldable. And the more you shape it with intention, the more your life begins to reflect that inner shift. You stop settling for mediocrity because your thoughts no longer permit it. You stop tolerating toxicity because your mind is now a place of peace, and anything that disrupts that becomes instantly obvious. Make no mistake, this is not about positive thinking for the sake of being cheerful. This is war, mental war. You are either rising or falling every day based on the thoughts you allow to lead. One weak thought repeated long enough becomes a belief, and that belief will sabotage you in silence. But one powerful thought, reinforced and nurtured, can become a foundation strong enough to carry your greatest dreams. This is the discipline that changes everything. It's not about controlling every thought that enters your mind. That's impossible. But it is about choosing which thoughts you give your attention, your energy, your belief. You can't stop negative thoughts from knocking on the door, but you get to decide whether or not to invite them in for dinner. Every breakthrough you want starts in your mind. Every limitation you face lives there too. So if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing the way you think. No more passive thinking, no more mental junk food. From now on, treat your thoughts like sacred ground, because whatever takes root in your mind will grow in your life. Guard your mind, sharpen it, train it, and it will become the strongest weapon you'll ever carry. Adversity is life's most honest teacher, because it doesn't flatter, it doesn't sugarcoat, and it doesn't lie. It strips away every illusion you've built to protect your ego and forces you to meet yourself. Not the version of you that the world sees when things are going well, but the real you. The one who shows up when everything falls apart. That's where your character is revealed. That's where your strength is forged. That's where you learn who you truly are and what you're made of. We spend so much time avoiding discomfort, dodging challenges, hoping for an easy path, thinking that if life just stays smooth, we'll be fine. But it's in the storm that we find out if our foundation is strong. It's in the hard moments that the shallow parts of us get broken down, and the deeper parts, those rooted in purpose, in grit, in vision, rise up to take their place. You don't become powerful in ease. You become powerful when everything around you is trying to break you, and you decide you're not going to fold. Adversity teaches you what matters. When everything is going right, it's easy to get distracted, to chase shiny things, to believe that comfort is the goal. But when adversity hits, you learn quickly that comfort is a lie. You see who's real, what values hold true, and what kind of fire you actually carry in your soul. Pain has a way of sharpening your focus. It forces you to let go of what's not serving you. It removes the noise and shows you what's essential. And here's the thing, adversity doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to develop you. You might not see it while you're in it. You might cry, rage, question everything, but later, if you're paying attention, you'll realize that was the chapter that changed everything. That was the test that awakened you. That was the fire that burned away the weak version of yourself and revealed something unshakable underneath. Too many people see struggle as punishment. But adversity isn't here to punish you. It's here to prepare you for the next level, for the future you asked for the strength you'll need when bigger challenges come. Because, make no mistake, if your vision is big, your obstacles will be big too. If your purpose is high, your tests will stretch you to match it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What part of me is being asked to grow right now? And then lean into that lesson, even when it hurts. Adversity also humbles you in the best way. It shows you that you're not invincible, but you are adaptable. It reminds you that you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. And that's the lesson most people miss. Adversity will either make you bitter. The difference lies in your response. You can let it harden you, or you can let it refine you. But you cannot stay the same. Every great warrior was once broken. Every strong mind was once filled with doubt. Every powerful soul has scars. But the difference between those who rise and those who stay down is simple. They decided not to let adversity define them. They chose to make it part of their fuel. They used the pain not as an excuse to give up, but as a reason to go harder. There's a kind of wisdom that only suffering can teach. It gives you depth, empathy, perspective. It helps you see others more clearly because you've been in the darkness and you know what it takes to crawl out. And when you've walked through hell and didn't break, you stop being afraid of what life can throw at you. You walk taller, speak clearer, move with intention because you've already faced your worst and found out it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a stronger you. Don't waste your pain. Don't let your adversity pass without extracting the lesson. Sit with it. Study it. Let it burn through the parts of you that were never built to last. Let it shape you into something better. That's how you turn adversity into advantage, not by avoiding it, not by running, but by rising. Remember, comfort might feel good, but it rarely changes you. It's adversity that teaches you who you really are. And the day you stop fearing it is the day you truly begin to live. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough, that you can ease off, that no one would blame you for taking the easy road. It's warm, it's familiar, and it requires nothing of you. No risk, no struggle, no stretch. But here's the brutal truth. Comfort will never give you the life you're truly meant to live. It may give you a life that's convenient, even pleasant, but not powerful, not meaningful, not fulfilling. Purpose, on the other hand, demands everything. It doesn't settle. It calls you forward. It stretches you. It exposes you. But it also transforms you. The person you become when you answer that call is someone the comfortable version of you could never imagine. That's the trade-off. Comfort gives you ease. Purpose gives you growth. Comfort gives you escape. Purpose gives you impact, and you can't have both. Not if you want to live a life that matters. Choosing purpose over comfort means making the hard decisions, even when nobody's watching. It means waking up early when your body says sleep. It means staying focused when distractions feel easier. It means doing the deep inner work when it would be more fun to scroll, numb, avoid. It's not glamorous. It's not always rewarded immediately, but it builds something inside of you that can't be shaken. It builds clarity, it builds resilience, it builds direction. Comfort doesn't care if you waste your potential, it only cares that you feel good in the moment. But purpose will never let you settle. It will nag at you when you slack off. It will keep you up at night if you ignore it. It will demand your full attention, and if you don't give it, you'll feel that emptiness in your chest, that quiet ache that tells you you're meant for more. That's the cost of ignoring purpose. You lose the connection to your own power. Every time you choose comfort over purpose, you trade long-term fulfillment for short-term relief. It's like taking a payday loan on your future. Sure, it feels good now, but you're robbing your future self of strength, of pride. That's why discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's saying, I believe my future is worth the discomfort I face today. I believe that who I can become matters more than how I feel right now. Comfort will keep you small. It'll convince you that dreaming big is dangerous, that taking risks is foolish, that blending in is safer. But if you've got even a flicker of fire in your soul, you know deep down that's not what you were built for. You weren't made to tiptoe through life just to arrive at death safely. You were made to rise, to contribute, to create something only you can bring into the world. Purpose might scare you, but that's how you know it's real. It's not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to pull you out of your comfort zone and into your calling. It's supposed to shake you awake. Because if you only do what feels comfortable, you'll never discover what you're truly capable of. The path to greatness is paved with uncomfortable moments, with tough decisions, with painful growth. And every time you choose purpose, you take another step on that path. It's easy to say, follow your purpose when things are going well. But the real test is when you're tired, when you've failed, when nobody's clapping. Will you still choose purpose then? Will you still stay committed to the mission when no one else understands it? That's what separates the average from the exceptional. The ability to stay aligned with your purpose even in silence, even in setbacks, even in solitude. The world doesn't need more people chasing comfort, it needs more people grounded in purpose. People who know who they are and why they're here. People who show up not just when it's convenient, but because they've made a promise to themselves, a vow to become everything they were meant to be. That's the energy that changes lives. That's the spirit that builds legacies. And every day you're faced with the choice, comfort or purpose, the easy path or the meaningful one. You can't walk both, but you can decide which one you'll walk with your head held high. The future belongs to those who choose purpose, especially when it's hard. You don't just owe it to yourself to rise, you owe it to the world. That might sound like a heavy burden, but it's a truth worth sitting with. Because if you've been given the gift of life, of breath, of a mind that can think and a heart that can feel, then you've also been given the responsibility to become something more than average. You weren't put here to merely exist, to take up space, to do what's easy and familiar and safe. You were put here to uncover your potential, sharpen it like a blade, and use it to cut through the noise of mediocrity. There are people out there who need what only you can give: a word, an action, a creation, a solution, something inside you, something only you possess. But if you hide it, if you play small, if you keep waiting for the perfect moment to fully show up, the world loses something irreplaceable. You may think that your journey is just about you, but it never is. Your strength becomes someone else's hope. Your perseverance becomes someone else's example. Your voice might be the one that wakes someone else up. That's why becoming the highest version of yourself is not an ego trip, it's an act of service. And make no mistake, the highest version of you isn't some ideal you find on a mountaintop. It's forged right here in the mess, in the pressure, in the moments when quitting would be easier. It's born when you do the right thing even when no one sees it. When you push yourself when no one claps for it. When you keep building yourself quietly, patiently, without applause. Too many people are waiting for the world to give them permission to rise, but the world doesn't give permission. It waits, it watches, it responds to your level of conviction. When you show up with everything you've got, something in the world shifts to make room for that. But if you walk timid, uncertain, apologetic about your light, the world has no reason to take you seriously. You must lead with the example of your own stand, not just in what you say, but in how you carry yourself, how you show up, how you move through challenge. You may not be able to control what the world throws at you, but you can absolutely control what you give back to it. And every time you choose discipline over laziness, responsibility over excuses, growth over comfort, you raise the standard of who you are. You show the world and yourself that you can be trusted with greatness, that you're not here to just pass time. You're here to leave something behind. You're here to live fully, not merely survive. So stop hiding behind fear. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop telling yourself that someday you'll commit fully. You already know what's required. You already feel the pull. The question is, will you honor it? Because when you live below your potential, you don't just hurt yourself. You withhold something sacred from everyone around you. You deny the world your gift. You become a shadow of what you were meant to be, and the tragedy is that you know it. Deep down, you feel the tension between who you are and who you could be. That's not guilt, it's a call, a sacred reminder that you are meant for more. And here's the thing, the world won't beg you to rise. It won't chase you down and ask for your greatness. It will keep moving, indifferent. That's why you must take responsibility for becoming who you were meant to be. That's why you must stop delaying the process of mastery, of alignment, of truth. The time is now, not later, because later turns into never and potential turns into regret. When you operate from your highest self, you elevate everything around you. You think clearer, love deeper, lead stronger. You don't just live, you become a force, a presence, a source of power, not a seeker of validation. And the world is starved for that kind of presence. It's waiting for people to rise, not for ego, not for applause, but because they finally remembered who they are. So if you've ever doubted whether your life matters, let this be your reminder. It does, but not in theory. It matters in action, in impact, in the decision to bring your full self to every moment, because the world doesn't need a version of you diluted by fear or laziness. It needs the real you, on fire, on purpose, and completely unapologetic about it.